Hey everyone, my name is Ayush and welcome to SillyHacks Workshops. So, as you know, SillyHacks is a 24 online hackathon. The motive of SillyHacks is not to solve the world problems but to have fun. So, at SillyHacks, we'll be just coding for fun and not solving any problem. And as you know, we have already organized a lot of workshops, and you have already learned about WebSockets, JavaScript frameworks, and even about GraphQL. But what about mobile frameworks? So yeah, guys, today we are going to learn about Flutter, and Philip, who is a senior developer advocate, is going to take a session. So yeah, guys, be hyped.
Hello. Hey everyone. Hi Ayush.
Hey everyone. Hi Philip. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's the morning. I'm pretty psyched up for the talk. I hope everyone else is.
Yes, we are even excited to have you here.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. I wanted to tell you. Well, I don't know. Did you know you wanted to say something? Sorry, I jumped into your sentence.
No, I guess we can have that conversation afterwards.
Okay. No, I just wanted to say SillyHacks. I'm a big fan. Not only because I like silly things, but also I always say doing silly things and playing around with stuff is one of the best ways to learn things. And this is actually, if you have something that's called SillyHacks, you kind of have a license to do things that are not completely serious. And that allows you to experiment, right? So I always say it's similar to like how kittens learn to fight. They learn to fight by playing and by just like pretending to fight. If they were learning to fight by actually harming each other, then they would not experiment with like new moves and everything like that. But because it's play, because it's silly, they can actually try new things and learn really well. And I think SillyHacks is, or silly anything, is really like that. Because you don't have anything to show for it, like anything really big or major or serious to show for it, you are free to experiment with anything.
Yeah, and I guess we at this times during the pandemic, people are getting stressed a lot. So you can also have code. You can have fun by using code. By just
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the motive actually behind the SillyHacks. So yeah, if you are ready, you can share your screen so we can see if everything is working properly or not.
Yeah. On my side, everything is working properly, so I can start at any point.
Okay, okay. I will be going backstage.
All right. Okay. Great. So this is me, Philip. I'm as I said, I'm a developer advocate on the Flutter team, and as I said, I'm also a big fan of the concept of SillyHacks. And today I will be talking about Flutter. So Flutter is, and we only have about 30 minutes, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about like the theory and backing about Flutter. I will give you a live demo in a minute. What I just wanted to say about Flutter, if you're not familiar, and I assume most of you aren't, Flutter is a toolkit for building apps for basically any screen. Right now, we're focusing on mobile, so iOS and Android, but there are other targets as well. And it is built by Google. and there are some cool things about it that I will hopefully show you throughout the demo. I wanted to focus this presentation on building silly apps, meaning how crazy can you get when you're building something in Flutter, but hopefully this will also show how that can translate into normal apps. So it's not completely just silly. What else did I want to say? Yeah, I will like really breeze through the code. I will be live coding. You are not expected, if you're new to Flutter, you're not expected to understand many of these things, and we don't have time to stop and explain, but hopefully it's not going to be a huge deal. I wanted to, this is not about how to make this particular app that I will be making. I actually don't know exactly what I'll be making yet, so we'll see. But this is about showing kind of the feel, how it is to program with Flutter, and also highlighting some things that some people might not know, even if you played with Flutter before. All right, so I think I have this cool thing here which lets me show you my screen. I hope that you can all read stuff. We are in the editor. We're past the installation point. I am running an app on an actual device here, and you can maybe see that it's on my screen as well. So you don't need to look over my shoulder. And this is a very simple app. This is the app that you get when you create a new Flutter project. And this app is very simple. It has, if you look at the right-hand side above my head, there's a title bar, there's some text in the center, and then there's a button. And if you click the button, the number in the middle gets larger. And the code for this app this is actually all the code for this whole app. It's 64 lines of code. And it's basically, it says like there's a primary color for this, which is blue, which you can see. And then blah, blah, blah. We're not going through this, but there is a counter variable that will later increment. There is an add bar. This is this area with a text. There is some centered text, which is this. And then there's a floating action button at the bottom. And when you press the button, you increment you set the state of the app, a new state of the app by incrementing the counter. Very, not easy, but once you understand Flutter, it's very easy to read this. All right, so one of the things that kind of was made Flutter famous in the early days is hot reloads. Basically, making it available, making it possible to change code of your running app as you're running it. So, for example, I can change the title, or basically this text I can change. So silly. I will just let me dodge this. Okay. There's a logo here, but that's fine. There's nothing interesting over here, I promise. All right, so you may have missed it, but hello, silly. If I save, inside 1 second, I can see that difference, right? So there's a new thing, and the main part is that the state of the app didn't change, so I can still go up and down. This is particularly interesting when you're building on a larger app than this one, because you can actually say, you can be 3 levels deep into the app and you can be changing some menu or something, and you don't want to go back to the start of the app or recompile the app all the time. You want to be able to change it as you're over there in that particular area of your app. We can also, of course, change the color. Orange looks okay. And you can also change the behavior. You can change all the things. So you can do counter minus, and instead of plus, you minus, which is a little silly, but not hugely silly. what else can we have, or what else is kind of a Flutter's thing? If I remember correctly, my order of things, it's everything is a widget. So in Flutter, everything is a widget, even things that you would not normally consider widgets. So there's in probably every API or SDK or toolkit for building apps, you will find widgets, or they will say that like a button is a widget, right? It's something that you see on the screen and it probably has some functionality. In many, you will see that text is a widget because that's also something that you see on the screen, although it might not, have any functionality. But in Flutter, there are widgets like center, which literally is just centering things that are inside it. There are things like padding that are also widgets. And this is actually really powerful, again, for normal apps, but also silly apps, because you can play with composing your UI in ways that wouldn't be available before. Normal toolkits would, instead of having a widget called center, would have something like text.center, or an attribute over here would have like, I want this to be in the center, or the stuff like this, but not just a widget. And it seems a little weird or backwards, but it's really, really powerful. What do we? So for example, this floating action button, right? So floating action buttons generally have either, icons. You could totally just add text here, right? But you can, do we want to add an image there? We could add an image, but we can also add another layer of widget, right? So this text can be actually wrapped inside another text. Not inside another text, but inside another widget. And here's a widget that's one of those that might not, be immediately obvious. Rotate widget, right? So you can rotate things. And the cool thing about this, and from this architectural standpoint, is that floating action button doesn't need to know that the widget inside it is rotated. It doesn't need to support rotation. And the same for text. Text doesn't know that it's rotated at this point. It doesn't know rotation. And it all works really. So actually, let me do counter / 10. Right? And we can actually we can actually rotate the thing. We can add functionality that I think is approaching silly without any anything explicit from the framework itself, right? The framework wasn't built with, oh, we want floating back action buttons to be able to rotate in real time. That's not something that people thought of when they were doing this. But hey, it works, right? So that's the other thing. So we talked about hot reload, the ability to change code on the fly. And then we talked about the ability to put everything into a widget and compose them in weird ways. Next is when you want to do something that's outside of the scope of just showing pixels. So Flutter is the kind of the main idea of Flutter is putting pixels on the screen, making it easy to build UIs for any kind of screen, and making you kind of own every pixel and stuff like this. We'll get to that. It is not by itself. It is not about, and of course, it also allows you to do networking and file input output and multi-threading and all these other things. But it does not come with things that are like talking to the system, because your app could be running, from Flutter's perspective, your app could be running on an iOS, Android device, it could be running on the web, on desktop, and these all have different capabilities. So what we have is plugins. We can you can go to this website. See it? No, not this one. This is flutter.dev, and you should check it out if you're interested in Flutter. But this website, pub.dev, is a place where you can just search for whatever you want. I just made a search for audio and found this package, which seems nice. And this is, I thought, okay, so my Silly app should probably play some audio. And I saw, okay, this is a system thing. This is not supported by Flutter itself, but there are actually several different packages. And this one looks caught my attention. And you can see that it doesn't work everywhere. So for example, Dash, whatever that is, or HLS does not work on the web. But most other things work on the platforms that I care about right now, and that's the Android and iOS. So yeah, actually all of them. All right. So, and they have an example. They have these things. So I should be able to do this. And I do have a file to play. So what I want to do is whenever I tap this button, I want to play a sound, and we'll see how that works. So increment counter is fine. This is going to be a little more involved than normal demos, and I like to do that actually. If I only did really, really small demos where I just write 5 lines of code and everything works immediately, I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's how generally things work, to be honest. So I'm going to go into more like a work mode, but hopefully it's going to be okay. So I do know that I looked at this before. I do know I need this audio player object. So, okay, audio is audio player. And then I need to initialize this one. And that means audio. And again, I think I remember set asset. And I do have the asset over here. That's very small text, but you have to trust me. I have the asset there. It's in assets toot.wave. And then, so now I think I have it. Now I just need to audio play it, right? Yeah. We'll see what that, we have to hard to restart now, which is basically we'll lose our numbers because we are playing with state in state. Don't worry, it's okay. Okay. I don't know if you heard it, but it's pretty loud and it doesn't work on the. Okay, I need to somehow seek. And it takes a duration. So duration 0. Yeah. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we are in business. Okay. This was actually. Oh, wait a minute. Filip, dispose. We need to dispose, right? So audio player dispose. Now we're done. All right. So that works, and the idea of all of this was you can build something that absolutely communicates with all the things that you expect it to. So in this case, it was audio player. In other cases, it could be, camera, sensors, battery, everything like that. That's plugins, and you'll find it in pub.dev. Right. Okay, so we went through hard reload, and everything is a widget, and talking to the system. And the last thing is And I think that's the most powerful in the long run, is you can, in a performant way, you can actually control all the pixels on the screen every frame. So because Flutter comes with its own rendering engine, it is absolutely giving you all the power to build your app in any way you want. It's on the back end, it's using Skia, and therefore the graphics card and everything like that. So it's fast, but it gives you the power to do really, really weird things. And weird things are what you want, especially for silly apps, but also for normal apps. You want to be different. So what I'm going to do, and this is again going to be maybe a little more complex, but we'll see if actually the audio player wasn't that bad. But I have an idea in mind, and I have assets for that. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'll just remove this whole thing and put a column here. Column widgets on top of each other. And the column will have two containers. I think hopefully it's going to be a little more. The first one will be just white. The second one will be green, of course. Now, if I do this, nothing will happen. This is because the containers are infinitely small. There's 0. Because column by design is trying to save space. But we can say that these columns should be expanded, meaning they should take as much space as possible. So another widget, another weird widget, right? Okay, so orange, white, green, cool. I want to also use those things called assets. Wow, I'm blanking out. Okay, so in the container, in the top container, the white one, I want to have a child called image asset, and I'll be doing assets dot, not dot, slash face top png. All right, that's me. And then at the bottom, I will have also a child and also an image asset, assets slash face bottom.png. All right. And I need to put the face on the top, but closer to the kind of line between white and green. So I'm going to use align. Align is a widget. Can you believe that? Align is a widget. So alignment would be alignment bottom center. Bam. And this one is going to be alignment. Oh, align. Alignment, top center. Bam. All right. So this is cool. But we we are, this is not, okay, it looks cool. It has my face on it. It's funny a little bit, but it doesn't do anything. We can actually start playing with this. So the first thing I will do, I have only 5 minutes. Wow. All right. So counter is even. It's top center. Otherwise, it's center. Okay, so this is actually pretty funny. But I think I had another idea, and that is basically being able to drag on the screen. This is funny, but it doesn't sell the fact that we every single frame, we can do whatever we want with the layout, right? Because it's only like when I tap that button. I want to be able to pan around on the screen, put my finger on the screen, and move my jaw, if you can call it that. So what I need to do is have some kind of good question. What do I need? Okay, so I need to first have an initial position. So this will be static cons. It doesn't need to be, but initial position would be alignment top center. So this is this. And then I also want alignment to be initial position. Okay, so alignment is something that we can play with. I'll just put it here, and it should just work, right? I mean, it doesn't work because it's at the top all the time, and now our silly thing doesn't work anymore. That's fine, because we will actually put new widget around the whole area over here, and that is gesture detector, which is exactly what it says on then. It detects gestures such as pans. And so on pan update, basically anytime the user moves their finger on that is touching the screen, it gives us the details of the pan. And we, of course, set state, because we're changing something. We're going to change something that affects how the app should look like. I have 2 minutes. And we are going to what? We are going to change the alignment with adding a new alignment that is described by the delta of the pan. So the movement of my finger on the screen will inform the alignment of my face, of my jaw. And I'll add this because I know these are different, these different scales. Delta is in pixels, alignment is in from -1 to 1. It doesn't matter. So trust me, it's gonna look much better here. So all right, so now, it works. Hello, I'm Filip. Okay, so this works. I like it, and hopefully you like it too. I will now get back to my screen, and of course I want this to be seen here. Okay. All right, so thank you for your attention. I will like to summarize what I've talked about, because this seems a little random, and it is kind of random. But my point here was there are 4 things that help, that Flutter is kind of known for, and that help people do actual apps with it. One of them is hot reload, being able to change the code on the fly. Second is everything is a widget. You can compose to your heart's desire. You can do some very, very interesting, much more interesting things that I showed you here with composing different widgets. Third, you have access through plugins to the underlying system, so you can totally play silly sounds. And fourth, you have, I don't know if I sold it enough, but let me do this. This is literally like relayouting actually, because of how it's implemented in a very naive way, this is relayouting the whole screen, right? Like, this is setting state, therefore it's rebuilding the whole screen, every frame, and it's still fast. And we're in debug mode, which I don't know if you see. So that's the fourth point. Like you can really do crazy stuff, and it's gonna be fast, and it's gonna be on every frame. And if you say I want to have a silly face over here, you can just put it there, and it's gonna be there. All right, back to me. Thank you for your attention again. I hope you have fun during the weekend if you're participating in SillyHacks. If you're not, then do something silly of your own. And yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah, that was a great talk actually, Philip.
Thank you.
People loved it. If you can see the comments over there, they are.
I don't see the comments. Damn.
Beside the private chat.
Oh, great! Yes, I see a lot of
You can
comments.
see the live comments from there, and someone said that we should push it to production.
Yes, it's ready. I know. Yeah.
So that was a great talk. We really liked it. Everyone liked it. So yeah, thank you so much for coming here and giving such a great talk. So as you said, like you also like to do silly things, and in your portfolio you also mentioned that you do silly things with different technologies. So can you share your experience about the recent silly things that you have made?
Okay. Apart from this, okay.
Yeah.
What's a silly thing that I did recently? Well, I like to. I was doing a lot more silly things in the past because I had more time. Now I don't. But I want to. If you're interested in my silly things, this is actually for me to see silly software. This is from before I knew about SillyHacks, and there are things like, what's the silliest one? I have a Darwinian evolutionary algorithm for conference schedules. So that's pretty silly. I was able to run an evolutionary algorithm to schedule one of the Dart conferences like 2 or 3 years ago. I have automatic Donald Trump, and many other things. So the last one I think that's pretty silly would be the conference Darwin. Yeah.
That's actually really great stuff. So if you want to take a look over there, you can especially go to his portfolio and check it out. You may find some inspiration from there also during for the hackathon. So since there are a lot of newcomers to the Flutter, so what is the one thing that you would suggest to those newcomers, that a tip of advice that will help them forever in their life?
All right. Okay. If you're new to Flutter, first of all, welcome. And please tell us if I think a big part of Flutter is the community. If I hope it's a welcoming community for whoever you are. So tell us if it's not, because we need to hear this. But as something to tell you, I guess don't worry about learning too much before you start pushing pixels on the screen. It's, as you see, I mean, it takes time to understand everything, and I still don't understand everything about Flutter, obviously, and neither does anyone else, I think, because it's a big system. And it is easy to get into this trap of thinking like, oh, I need to know all these things before I start building, and it's not true. You should start just doing whatever, flailing and failing, and you will have much more fun that way, and you will actually learn much more that way. So don't worry about it too much.
That's a great tip. So yeah, guys. So yeah, folks. If you want to learn Flutter and build some Celiac during the hackathon, you can also check out the Code Labs and the Flutter samples repo if you haven't checked it out. So you will find a lot of things to learn from there also. And yeah, if you're interested in animations, there is animation samples also in the samples repo, which will help you to build some crazy animations during the hackathon. So yeah, thank you so much for coming, Philip. It's been really an honor to host you. So
Yeah,
thank you so
thank
much.
you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. If you haven't registered to SillyHacks, please register. And let's see you on the 18th of September. Bye, everyone. Signing off.
Bye.